I want to see the Keystone XL pipeline built. I always have. One pipeline would increase Canada's export capacity for oil by 20%. That's how big it is. That's why it's called the XL pipeline. And on Monday, U.S. President Donald Trump said, hey, let's get that company that was building Keystone, by which I assume he means TC Energy Corp, to come back to America and get the job done. You know, I know he got treated badly, and this is what Trump said, by sleepy Joe Biden. But the Trump administration is different. We'll have quick approvals. We'll have easy permitting. It'll be so much quicker under us. But we'll get to that in a second. But the point is, in the same day, Trump said, oh yeah, I am imposing those tariffs on Canada that I threatened last month. Well, since oil and gas are covered by those tariffs, 10% rather than 25% for a lot of other commodities, but since Canadian oil and gas will be covered by Trump's tariffs, and it's Canadian oil and gas that would be carried in the Keystone XL, who in heaven's name does he think is going to build that? He holds two diametrically opposed ideas in his head at one time, particularly on trade. He's going to punish us. We don't need Canadian oil. He told that to the World Economic Forum. And now he says, let's build Keystone. Let's get a lot more Canadian oil down here. And by the way, I'm going to tax it with a tariff, because tariffs are taxes, when it comes across the line. Like, the man is positively deranged on tariffs. He says it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Tariffs are the most beautiful word. It's ridiculous. If this weren't a family podcast, I'd call it asinine. It's ridiculous, the ideas he holds in his head at any one time. And it's going to hurt the Canadian economy, but also it's going to hurt the American economy. There's a new study out today that shows 70% of Americans have a less optimistic view of their economy since Trump took over in January. And that's because he's a disruptor. That's fine when you're making a real estate deal with your own money or your investors' money. But when you're making a deal with your country's future and it affects everybody who lives in that country, it is dangerous to play the games the way he does. And besides, Keystone XL is not easy to turn on again. When the Biden administration pulled the permits on it in 2021, TC Energy pulled out a lot of the pipe that they had laid. They laid off their workforce. And since that time, in the 4 years since Biden canceled the project, a lot of permits have expired. And it's not just federal government permits. I grant you, Donald Trump would probably give you the federal permits very quickly. But there are also state permits. In some cases, there are county permits. And there are tribal land permits. It took TC Energy 12 years and $1 billion to put that all together. And if you think the environmentalists are just going to roll over and let all of those permits get reissued without any kind of resistance, then you're almost as crazy as Trump. Trump doesn't understand what he's doing on trade. He's using his old tactics of disrupting everything and hoping that a good deal trickles out at the end. That might work, as I said, when you're in private business, but it does not work when you're dealing country to country. For Postmedia, I'm Lorne Gunter.